a company today, a month later you get 1.3 billion, unless that's a company that a world that lives in mass. So my honest opinion, Chairman, is that this company was properly registered to defraud Kenyan money, taxpayers' money, because there are many reputable companies that are 30, 40 years old that have not got this kind of business. Therefore, that's my take on this.
Let's have Paul and then yourself, TJ.
Let me finish. You are given an intent, you are given a commitment letter. That's the only thing that you have used to supply, correct? Isn't that the position?
Correct.
You have no any other documents, LP, or you have no any other document whatsoever. You just supply this amount of money, correct?
I have stamped deliveries.
Yeah, you have stamped deliveries.
What I will request, honorable members, what I will request is Wanjala, who will now also want to go into another direction. So what I will request is how we be. And what now, let me just give a bit of guide find out from you is, according to the CR12 you've provided us, and I want to remind, according to the CR12 that you've provided us, is that you are the sole time of incorporation. Who incorporated this company?
For me, I did incorporate the company.
Did you walk into Sharia House yourself to incorporate this company?
I used my agent.
Who was?
Her name is Judith.
Who?
Judith.
Judith who?
Judith Moloki.
And that is who exactly?
No, her job basically is doing online registration of companies.
So this is a person who works for like...
She's an agent. She does incorporations of companies if you request.
Now, I also want to ask you this, because what we have right now is the current position of shop and buy. Is there any power of attorney where someone has given you or anything of that nature?
No, I'm the owner of Shop and Buy, and the beneficial owner of Shop and Buy is myself.
So you are 100% owner of this company, isn't it?
Yes, Chair.
And I'm asking a question. Have there been any changes between then till now?
First case of COVID came in 1st March. So there was no relation. Because member had raised that it was registered specifically for COVID supplies. I did it a month earlier. I got the job more than 3 months later.
There's a way you can be able to now just be able to confirm the issue for what Honorable Omar is asking. Let me ask you this. From the date at which you were registered in February 14th,
yes.
What was the amount of money that you injected in this company? I need to remind you that we can actually write to your bank to be able to get these details as well.
You are talking of on 14th or when I...
On 14th of February is the day you registered this company. So you're saying that this company was not registered for purposes of Kemsa. So we're going to ask you, on 14th of February, when you registered this company, what was the amount of money that you injected into this company?
Immediately when I opened the accounts, I had around 7 million in that account.
7 million shillings.
Yes.
So the first deposit that you had, and of course you can be able to provide us, and we will also be able to verify with your bank which bank are you with?
I am in Diamond Trust and Middle East banks.
Diamond Trust Bank
and Middle East.
Diamond Trust Bank and Middle East Bank.
Yeah.
So you're saying when you opened this company, you had 7 million.
When I did open the company, I didn't get the what we call the PIN immediately. So I was not in a position to open an account on 14th.
When did you open the account?
I'm not sure, but it was at the between March and April. And
so you opened an account, I
registered the company in 14th
of February.
Yes.
So after a couple of months, after almost around 14 to 21 days is when you are saying that you were able to get a PIN.
Yes, that is specifically for Shop and Buy. But what I want to state to this committee is that, one, I'm a business person by profession.
Can we stick to shop and buy?
Yes.
Because if you're going to try and divert us into your other business interests, it might end up not being in your advantage. So I would advise you not to. Let us stick to shop and buy. For now, we are talking about this amount of money that you banked. We are here because you specifically wanted to divert into the issue that the ownership of this company was not for purposes of Kemsa defrauding. So we are asking you this. The time of registering this company was February 14th.
Yes.
From then, when did you open the bank accounts?
I'm not sure, but it should be in the end of March and early April, when I used the accounts of Shop and Buy.
Okay. So now, how much money did you put in?
I started with around 7 million, but subsequently, before the month of March, I transacted in excess of 50 million on the same account, because basically we were doing imports and we were not doing specifically for Kemsa. We were doing for our businesses, which we still do today. If you walk to our offices today, you still buy a mask, you still buy a BBE, you still buy an hospital bed. So it is only maybe coincidence that we did Kemsa, and we are still doing other products.
Who are the signatories of this account?
Myself.
Are there any other?
No other signatory.
All right.
Yeah.
We would request you to provide the account details so that we can be able to get this verification from the banks itself. All right.
I will, Chair.
Okay. Yes, TJ.
Okay. James, we are very patient, so many of this information we will be with you for a while, I can see, because we need to verify the information that I'm seeing here. First of all, I have seen the search under the CR12, but I have not seen your articles and memoranda. Do you have them?
We do have them, but I was not asked to provide them.
What are the objects under your articles? What are some of the objects under your articles?
The purposes of the company, that is. Yeah, the company, my company trades in all fast-moving goods. Now, when having medical equipment, including farm.
Please hold on till we are back. We don't want.
One of the objects of your company include the supply of medical equipment?
Yes, yes.
Will you supply us with a copy of your articles and memorandum?
I will.
All right. While you are still there, you registered the company on or about 14th of February 2020. And then you say that by the end of March or April, you open an account and you inject about 7 million. Is that correct?
It is correct.
And then you say that after end of March or April,
Yes.
you have transacted about, say, 50 million
On the same account.
on sales, on the same amount.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Why don't you clarify, TJ, whether it is actually sales or it is deposits?
Are these cash deposits or these are sales?
The chair had prohibited me from saying I'm a businessman by profession.
No, we know we don't have a problem
Yeah.
with that.
Now.
That's the reason you're here in the first place.
Between earlier than that, even registering the company, I was already
No,
importing.
as I told you, let us stick with shop and buy.
Why don't you just answer this way? The source of the money that you banked into the account of Shop and Buy,
Yes.
was it banked in terms of cash banking? Was it banked in terms of there was a supplier, you had supplied some items, because you said you were doing business, isn't it?
Yes.
So was it banked in terms of there was a supplier, you supplied an item, you banked it, or where was the source of that money?
The money was in my personal account.
Okay.
And I only, because I was transacting in,
Let him go ahead, Rashid, because so that teachers' questions can be answered. Yes.
you see, part of the funds were in my personal account. A part of the funds were borrowed from my other companies where I have interests.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so let us just be, you are a businessman.
Yes.
So you understand these things. Part of the money was from your personal account, right?
Yes.
And some of the money were from other accounts from other companies. I imagine that these were loans. Is that correct?
That is it.
These were loans to
From the companies.
to shop and buy.
Yes.
All right, fair enough. But to the extent of 7 million, right?
No, I'm talking of the 7 million was from personal funds from myself.
So can you be clear? What was from your personal funds?
Chair,
what was borrowed?
Chair, I cannot,
what was from what sources?
I really wish you should have asked me. I would have given you a breakdown of how I transacted between the man of
Don't
mine.
have a problem. We will give
Yeah,
you
but,
that opportunity.
yeah.
Now, if you registered in 2020, this is 2021. Have you filed your returns to KRA?
I have not yet. We are yet to, the deadlines are in April, and but
Sorry?
The deadlines of filing returns are in April, but there are continuous obligations like doing VAT, paying tax here and there, which we do on monthly basis.
Now, have you done your, this is 14th, if you registered on 14th, meaning that by now you must have held your annual meeting. Have you done your annual meeting?
We've not done. Basically, I'm the sole director.
Still, that does not absolve you from doing things according to Companies Act.
I have not done.
So you don't have audited accounts?
Not yet.
Let me just clean up this. So you don't have audited accounts?
Yeah, for the company.
Allow him to finish, and then we can have your members. All right?
Do you have audited accounts?
This is only 1 year company.
Yeah, that is why we are.
We are working on them. That is what we know. Our deadlines with KRA and the other bodies are before April.
Mr. James, let me remind you that annual general meeting should be done within the year. It has nothing to do with those KRA. Have you done your annual meeting to be able to pass your accounts for this year?
We've not done.
For this accounting year, you haven't done.
Yeah.
Now, do you have extracts, even though you have not done your accounts? Extracts, your cash book that would reveal to us the situation of this 50 million which you injected from other companies. Is that available?
Yes, we do. We do.
Will it be available to us?
On request, we will.
Now, you opened your accounts. Do you remember exactly when did you open your bank account?
I don't remember the exact date, but I will still provide with the other documents.
Okay. So you opened bank account. How long did it take you to get your PIN?
It took around 1 month, 1.5 months.
Yeah, now this is where I am. You have registered your company on 14th of February. It has taken you 1 month
You lodge.
or so, just a minute, to get your PIN. That is, we are in March, right? And after March, then you inject 57 million to your account.
Let's all agree that around March, when the pandemic was there, even government offices, we did apply immediately.
I've not even touched pandemic.
Yeah, I'm
just trying
talking
to find
about
out
March.
the movement of your company.
I have no problem. I will provide you with all the details. But I'm trying to say I did apply for the PIN immediately we incorporated the company. But the government offices work differently.
So
and it came out later
what
on.
work in terms of sales
Yes.
or business were you doing between March and April? Forget about the pandemic.
I was doing the same thing because we were already importing using my name I was importing the same PPE around and masks using my name.
Who are you supplying?
Wait a minute, so that we don't lose track. You said you imported using your personal name.
Yes.
Your own personal name.
Yes.
You did not import using any of your other companies.
No, for this particular masks, I imported using my name.
Okay.
Because
just a minute, Paul, please, members. It is only fair so that Honorable stages line, and then when another member comes in, we will follow this. Yeah. So you're saying that you imported using your own personal name.
Yes.
Okay. And I recall you saying, and I want to remind you that this is a house of record, that you've been paying your other statutory deductions, the normal ones, to the taxman.
Yeah.
Okay. According to the report that we have from KRA, is that you have not declared anything under shop and buy.
But I will show you my evidence.
Okay, unless of course KRA is misleading this committee.
No, I'm saying I don't know from what man, but we've been paying fares.
This is a report by the Kenya Revenue Authority dated 17th February 2021. That means this report is valid from the date of your incorporation until 17th February 2021. Considering that between 17th till today there are probably a few days, I want to read this out to you very clearly. This is a report, and it says Shop and Buy Limited, whose owner, director is James Kipketer Chelulei. The taxpayer has not declared any sales from Kemsa, and this is in terms to your VAT returns. The imports that you are saying that you have done. Now, we of course, when it comes to the word of the taxman, we will take the taxman's word, because he's, right now, as we are speaking, I just want to notify you as well that there's a compliance check on the taxpayer for VAT and pay as you earn, which is currently ongoing. All right. So I just want you to tell us, when you tell us that you've been paying your VATs, you did not even declare. You've not even declared that you actually supplied. Usually, when you invoice, you have to declare to the taxman that I invoiced this amount of money, isn't it? The VAT returns are this. Am I right? Okay, now I put it to you, have you declared at all that you've made any sale to Kemsa?
We've not declared because we've not done invoices to Kemsa, and neither have we received any payments for the supplies we did to Kemsa.
Okay, so what I'm asking you is, as it stands right now, because you said that this company has been able to do declarations, right now as it stands, have you done any declaration to...
Yeah, when you import goods, you have to pay VAT.
We'll get to the importation part.
Yes,
we'll get to the importation part vis-a-vis what are the items that you actually imported, vis-a-vis what are the items that were purportedly said to be supplied. But for now, let's stick to VAT. The honorable member asked you a very vital question. You said you've been doing your monthly returns, isn't it?
There are continuous obligations which you have.
Have you been doing your monthly returns, whether it's nil returns or not?
We've not done on monthly basis, because apparently since April, what I'm trying to say is we've been doing transactions, and there are things like VAT when you do returns.
Even if it is zero rated, even if an item is zero rated, you're a businessman. I mean, you're someone who is looking at turning over from one state corporation 1 billion shillings just a few weeks after being incorporated. I'm sure you know what the law says. In the event that you have been able to do business, you need to declare whether it is zero rated or not zero rated. As it stands right now, the taxman feels that you've not done any business as of 17th February. So I'm going to ask you this again. Do you want to rescind your earlier statement that you have been doing your monthly returns to the taxman?
We've not, I want to repeat again, we've not done the returns on monthly, but there are some payments we normally do pay.
Pay as you earn is for your employees.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
NSSF is a statutory deduction for your employees, and so is NHIF.
Yeah.
You were asked about your income tax, you said we've not reached that threshold. And you said that we've been doing these monthly VATs. I'm asking you again, it's a simple yes or a no. Are you rescinding your earlier, because this is a house of record, we can rewind, you can hear your own voice saying this. You said that you have been doing your deductions with the VAT man every month. Is that the case? Is it a yes or a no?
I mentioned obligations, Chair.
Okay.
It was not specifically VAT.
So you've not sent to, despite the fact that you said you've been doing business in this company, you have not done anything at all in terms of telling the VAT person, this is what I did in terms of sales or anything. Is that the case?
There are payments we've made to KRA, and that is on record.
The payments you've made for KRA is when you imported some items. And I told you we'll get to the level of that. We have the details with us already. It's simple. It's just a yes or a no, so we can go to other members.
Okay.
Have you been doing your monthly VAT to declare?
I can confirm with my accounts. You see, what we are trying to do, I don't know which one, for example, is VAT, and but I can, for sure, you can give me a minute, I can confirm, and I confirm what we've been paying.
Chair. So that I don't take too long for members, I think a lot of members were. You said that before Kemsa, forget about Kemsa, you did business worth about 50 million, right?
I was saying I transacted through that account, because we were doing imports, and it is on record that we
Which
imported.
is supply of medical equipment.
Not necessarily medical. When I do imports, we do medical, we do also other products.
Yeah.
But it passes through the same account.
Yes. So this almost 75 million, no, 57 million worth of business. So who were your main suppliers? I mean, who were your main customers?
Yeah, I can give you a list of.
You have it with you?
To Lapside, some to Kura.
Hold on.
Most of them.
Hold on. The items that you supplied to Lapsets, to Kura, and to the other, were they the same COVID-related items?
Yes.
Okay.
For example, some are fogging machines.
So you supplied a fogging machine?
Okay. Yeah, fogging machine is fumigation machine for COVID. Yeah.
And all this in March, before COVID?
Between March and June.
No, my question is very clear. Do not take me around. If you wish, I can tell you. I'm trying to investigate the integrity of your company.
For example,
yeah, so listen to me. No, just a minute, so that we follow each other. Listen to me. Before you get the multi-billion project at Kemsa, what were you doing? You have said that you had about 75 million, 57 million, some infused by yourself, some from loans from other companies.
And you said some businesses, isn't it?
So I'm asking the kind of business that you are rolling before this COVID. And so you're saying you were in supplies of medical equipment. I want to know who are you supplying and in what amounts before COVID, 1 month, just in March alone. Please.
You know, I've said I never transacted before I got the bin for shop and buy.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
You didn't supply anything
using shop and buy. I used my name.
Wait a minute. So you're saying that Kenha gave you business. I just want to remind you as well that Kenha, their audited reports passed through this committee.
Yes.
You have talked about Lapset. I want to advise you that their audited accounts passed through this committee.
Yes.
You've talked about Kura. I want to advise you that their audited reports passed through this committee.
Yes.
So you supplied these companies under your personal name.
No, these ones, the ones I'm mentioning, I supplied using shop and buy.
Okay, that's what the honourable member is asking. Just a minute, TJ. Just a minute.
Point of order, Chair.
No. Let's just get this one thing very clear. That's why I asked you, don't mix things up. Let's talk about shop and buy.
Okay,
you have said that shop and buy, you had about 57 million injected, either through personal accounts or through businesses. The honourable member asked you, give us a breakdown of the people that you did business with.
I'm giving you, the only thing I don't have are the figures. On 29 May, I supplied them.
No, that is May. I'm not interested in May.
You want April?
March.
No, not even April, even before January, February.
No,
They were registered in February on Valentine's Day, but
Chair, excuse me.
Before that, yes.
Give us to pursue.
Yeah, I want to pursue the same.
All right, legal counsel, what I will request you to do, just a minute. No, TJ, please.
Sorry.
What I will request you to do, it's clear that your client is either trying to hold things or something while under oath, right? Just inform him of the repercussions, please. So, no, allow him. I'm just asking you to tell him. All right. The honorable member asked a very, very vital question. You said you injected 57 million. We just want the reason why, and we're still at point A on the credibility of this company. We are giving you an opportunity to be able to tell us that the credibility of this company called Shop and Buy is on the essence of ABC. That now you've told us you supplied to Kura, you supplied to Lapset, you supplied to Kenha, isn't it? Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So can you first of all exhaust the list of all these people you supplied to?
The month of March.
March, I didn't supply goods using Shop and Buy.
Okay, no, let's stick to Shop and Buy. Whether you did business in other companies, let's stick to Shop and Buy.
Yeah.
The 57 million that is there. So you didn't do anything in March?
No, Chair. There's something.
That's very valid, Chair. I want that to go on record. No, just a minute. A good response is coming. Please put that on record. That in March you did not supply. Is that the
position?
The
That is
question?
correct.
I see.
Okay, Chair. I want
All right, let's have Paul and then yourself, Rashid.
Look at your letter dated 29th of April, 2020.
No, he'll provide it.
You have indicated here that our company is engaged with the supplying of items to support the COVID-19 pandemic. And here you are telling us you did not supply by March. This is April 29. I did this letter on April 29. Yes. Yeah. The same companies here, which I was to mention, which are not March, but they are still April. We are dealing with between when your company was incorporated, yes, and this letter dated 29th March, not beyond that. Okay. Stick to that line. Okay. This one. And in your request, you never said if you supplied samples to Kemsa, and if you got a letter that whatever you wanted to supply to Kemsa was in line with the COVID with the COVID items. So I give because your request letter was on 29th, and the letter of intent was 30th, just in a day. When you made the request and when you are given the intent letter.
Paul, I think we're now jumping the gun, and I've stated this, honourable members. What I will request us to do, because right now, Honourable Kajwang's the part of the company being incorporated and asking all this. But you see, when we now go into the part, if you look at the responses, it is. So I will allow you to be the first one to be able to ask that. But why don't we do this prior to March, whether he did any business? He's told us now, and it to give you a time where you're actually going to be able to present all these issues that members are talking about. No, just a minute. Just a minute, Rashid. Honourable Rashid, just a minute. What we will require is the breakdown of, okay, and what was the value that you did business with them with, all right? Because even us, they would engage a company that is just a week old, all right? Yes, let's have
the same question and procedure by Honorable TJ. Can you confirm that your company was registered on 14th of February?
Yeah, it was registered on 14th February.
14th of February, when did you start dealing with the Kemsa?
Was on this letter, that was the first time the letter dated 29th April was my first transacting with Kemsa.
Okay, who introduced you to, were you previously pre-qualified with Kemsa? Before the letter?
I was not previously.
Are you pre-qualified with the Kemsa on that date when you are writing the letter? Were you pre-qualified with Kemsa as the farms to supply medical or any other goods?
When we were providing the samples, we were told we must supply the samples so that they would pre-qualify us. So we did on the same day on 29th.
And were you are pre-qualified?
We were told we were pre-qualified.
You have a letter to suggest that you are pre-qualified to supply goods and services to Kemsa?
I was not given a letter.
So you are not pre-qualified?
Okay, I'm not sure on that.
Okay.
Not sure.
Who introduced you to Kemsa? To which authority directed you to make business with Kemsa? Because we have a lot of authorities which have been directing farms to do business with Kemsa. Which authority, which references have you used to make business with Kemsa?
For my case, it was not a reference. It was my clients whom I supplied goods and they were actually selling to Kemsa.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you're saying that you have clientele.
Yes.
Who you are selling to those clients.
Yes.
And then those clients were equally now taking the same items and selling them to Kemsa, isn't it?
Yes, in the month of April.
Okay, in the month of April.
Yes.
Who are these clients?
Yeah.
One is Trade Soft Limited.
Trade?
Trade Soft Limited.
Is spelled well, trade?
Trade, just like Biashara.
Like treadmill or
Yes,
or
yes.
trade biashara?
Trade
No,
Biashara.
treadmill and trade biashara is different. So
Trade shop? Which one else?
One was, the other one was Edumat Limited. Edumat.
Edumat. Continue.
The other one is Bennett Ventures Limited.
it's a good thing that you're mentioning Bennett Ventures because we are also looking for them.
Okay.
If you, it'd be nice if you because the mentor here and they've so if you could the clerk will kindly share that. Yeah, Bennett Ventures and then
I've mentioned, I don't remember the others, I remember the three.
No, Chairman, you stopped him from
I think I jumped the gun there. I truly jumped the gun.
Okay, we agree. We still continue.
I definitely jumped the gun. I definitely jumped the gun. You're very right.
Continue.
You are totally right.
Okay. We agree. Your trade shop. Trade shop.
Yes.
Eduk what? Edumat.
Yes.
Bennett Ventures.
How much business
Yes.
they did?
Which one else?
Those are what the major.
So these are three key entities that you are supplying goods and services of medical nature to them.
Yes.
And yet you are registered on 14th February. Were these existing entities
They were
before you, more experienced than you, or what were they?
They had already a good working relationship with Kemsa.
They had a good working relationship with Kemsa and they were suppliers to Kemsa.
Yes.
And you are supplying them.
Yes.
Okay. In their good relationship, how much quantities have they supplied with to this? Are you aware of any quantities that they have dealings with Kemsa before you are given the 1.3 billion shillings worth of goods?
On the two, Bennett and if I'm not wrong, I supplied
Just 51.
Bennett with 20,000 boxes of
20,000?
yeah, it should be 20,000 boxes of
Which is with quantity? How much quantity?
20,000 is equivalent to 2 million pieces of face masks.
Okay, 2 million.
Yes.
You supplied to them?
I supplied to Bennett, for example.
Okay, Bennett.
Yes.
And how much did you supply? And the equipment?
No, I supplied 3-ply masks specifically to the three of them. 3-ply masks are the masks most of you are using currently.
So you were supplying to them and they were also supplying to Kemsa?
Yes, they had.
No, just make it very clear.
Yes.
They had earlier acquaintance or business dealings with Kemsa, and you are supplying them.
Yes.
Which month were you supplying them?
April.
Eh?
In the month of April.
Not March.
April.
You are supplying them in the month of April.
Yes.
That is the first, and they were supplying with Kemsa before you.
Yeah, they had earlier supplied Kemsa, and they.
Between when? Which month were they supplying Kemsa?
I don't know. I only know what I dealt with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. When you did that, and you knew that they have told you that they have been dealing with Kemsa, what prices have you supplied with Kemsa, and what prices have you, and which prices have you supplied with these goods? Which prices?
They were different goods. You see, I supplied Kemsa.
No, for the
PBE.
protective PBE. Yes, how much?
Yeah. I supplied Kemsa only the PBE personally.
How much was it?
Personally, I wrote an indent letter. My indent letter stated 9,500 per kit. And for K95, I quoted, my intention to sell to Kemsa was 800 shillings per piece.
800 per piece?
Yes.
One N95?
Yes.
Okay. How much did you eventually provide it with them? How much did they give you with?
We've not finished with Kemsa. We've not. The process has not started.
Honorable Rashid, what I will request, because you see this situation of shop and buy is unique in multiple ways, because according to him, yes, he has supplied. But can we reach there?
Have you supplied?
I have supplied.
At what price have you supplied with the kits? It's 9,500, and they have obliged to give you at that price.
Okay, what I was told was they will be as part of the process is negotiation. That is what we were told in Kemsa. Prior to
Rashid, I will strongly request honorable members, let's not jump the gun, otherwise we'll all get
them and how he was introduced to Kemsa. He's not very clear on it. This is the line of argument, but I still want to know. You have supplied goods worth 1.3 billion shillings, which you are not paid.
According to my quotation, it is 1 billion and 30 million.
1 million, and that's already
1 billion.
1 billion shillings.
Yes.
Goods worth of that amount.
Yes.
Which you are not paid to date.
Yes.
And you have supplied.
Yes.
Okay. Which is the? How is your source of funding? How was your source of funding, and how much was it? And which entity provided you with financing 1 billion items? Items costing 1 billion shillings. Because you have not been very clear in that. Give us clarity on your source of, not the 57 million or 50 million. What was your source of funding?
As I mentioned, part of the funding is from myself.
Whether it is your part of funding, or whether it is buy and end,
yes,
all of them are coming from you, even buy and what end, it is yours. You are the sole entity. There's no differentiation between all this. All of them are coming from the same pocket.
But there are those companies which I have other co-directors, and that is where I got part of the funds. But
which companies? Name them, please. Your source of funding.
I've mentioned one is Elite Ventures, which I'm the director.
Okay, you also are director in Elite Venture.
Yes.
You can get that, Chair.
Yes, I'm writing and I'm looking at.
Yes.
He's also an elite. He's a director with Elite Venture. Don't go back to your.
Let him continue. You're on a good line.
Okay. You okay with that?
Coco, don't ask him. Okay. Just continue.
Okay. we are getting. Your source of funding was from Benit Venture, which you also a director. Was what?
No. He said Elite Ventures.
Elite. Another one?
Kukuchik Limited.
Kukuchip.
Oh?
Kukuchik, a breeding company.
Kukuchip.
Kuku is in chicken.
Yes.
So it's
but without K. Kukuchik Limited.
So
See you.
Yes, Kuku. The ordinary word for Kuku.
But
ordinary word for Kuku is KUKU.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
So it's Kuku.
See you.
Chick. Yes.
Okay.
Can you spell chick?
Yeah.
The chicken.
Chick is IC.
Okay.
Okay.
So Elite Ventures is one of your companies. Kukuchik is another one of your companies.
Yes.
Okay.
And the other one?
The other one was a joint account I held with some two partners, two friends.
Hello. Sorry.
The other funding
Yeah.
came from a joint business. By that time, we had not done a company, but we were using our names.
See.
So one of them was my, the other one was my name.
Okay, your
And
name.
then the other
Which
one
is
was-
who?
James Chelule,
James Chulule. And the third one?
Collins Poinet,
Huh?
Collins Poinet,
Collins.
and Celine Boland.
Boynet and?
So there's Collins Boynet,
It is a joint account.
and then there's yourself,
Yes.
and the third one,
Celine Poland.
Celine Poland.
Yes.
Poland.
The word, like the country Poland.
Poland. Okay.
Okay.
And they're all Kenyan.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Do they have a shares with and buy something?
No.
No.
Yeah.
And the fourth one?
The fourth ones are now the main suppliers from China. One is TechWise, the other one is Carrier Logistics Limited.
Carrier
Who?
Logistics.
Carrier Logistics Limited and TechWise Limited.
And
Those are Chinese companies whom the bulk of the goods came from. And those are where the bulk of the money.
So before delivery, there's supposed to be a prepayment, isn't it?
A deposit.
A deposit and a prepayment, kind of.
Yes.
Which you have.
Yes.
Which you have.
Which I
So
did.
you have the source of money,
Yes.
which you have indicated those number of clients,
Yes.
and those number of individuals,
Yes.
which accounted for the money which will send to Carrier Logistics,
Yes.
and this other one,
Yes.
and you have made a deposit.
Yes.
You have all those documents,
I have them.
all of them.
Yes.
Okay.
So you, for purpose of being on record, the first one you said is Career Logistics, and the second one,
TechWise.
Tech.
TEKWISE.
TechWise.
Yes.
These are companies that are registered in China or
Yes. Registered in China.
here? Okay.
Okay.
For purposes of continuing in this line, I just need you to confirm one thing. And I want to remind you as well that these companies that we can also be able to send an email right now to the business registrar CEO, and he can be able to give us this information, but we are giving you the benefit of answering us. Who are the owners of Elite Ventures and Kukuchik?
Kukuchik is myself
And
and Caroline Chelagat.
just the two of you?
Yes.
Who's Caroline Chelagan? To you?
No, he's just a business partner.
She's a business partner. So Caroline Chelagan, James Chulule, Collins, Boynet, Selen, all these are Kenyans.
All of them are Kenyans.
Are they having other gainful employment or others?
All of them are in other
banking
businesses.
sector?
They have their own businesses.
Not in the banking sector.
No, not in the banking sector.
All right, let's just Elite Ventures, who are the owners?
I'm the majority shareholder. The other one is Sarah Partojo.
Sarah
Partojo.
Partojo.
Yes.
And she is
She's a director too.
okay. So let me ask you, I'm just trying to think out loud, because even if Sarah owns 10% and this other lady owns another 10% here, and if you remove money here, then that means automatically that you've removed 10% of theirs. This was through was it a mutual consent or whatever, or what was it?
It was a mutual consent. I would request, because I'm the director there.
Okay. Now you said that you supplied these items,
Yes.
and I actually cut this short to Trade Shop, Bennett Ventures, and Edmund Limited.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm gonna ask you again. Trade Shop, you supplied them how many items?
I'm not sure, but around 12 million Kenya shillings.
12 million Kenya shillings.
Yes.
Okay. And you have these transactions with you,
Yes.
which you can be able to provide to us.
Yes.
Because the business they did with Kemsa was 5.5 million.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, they were also supplying other places. I wanted to show what I supplied them.
Okay. And then now you're talking about Bennett Ventures Limited.
Yeah.
You said you supplied them with 20,000 pieces.
Yes, boxes.
20,000 boxes.
Yeah.
They actually did supplies of 40,000 boxes. How much did you sell to Bennett Ventures for?
It was around 4,000 per box
4,000 per box.
at that time.
Okay. Because if you sold it to them at 4,000 per box, Bennett Ventures, the amount of money that it sold it for, according to this, is at about 4.5. They sold this at about 180 million. But Bennett Ventures is in the same category as yourself. They just walked in, got contracts, and that was it. I'm going to ask you now, Edmond Limited.
Yeah.
You said you supplied them goods worth how much?
Not Edmond, Edumat.
Edumant Limited, yes. Yes, please.
I don't have the figures, but it was around, should have been around 30 million.
Okay. Yeah, Vice?
Just to 2020, which had opened its bank account late March to early April. Of course, you did not specify the date, which has no returns of made to KRA, which has no audited accounts, which was introduced to Kemsa by Tradeshop Limited, Edmond and Bennett Ventures. Those who introduced you to Kemsa, that is the Edmond Limited, only got tender supply amounting to 51 million, while Bennett got, supplies worth 180 million. Then, with your new company, you made supplies worth 1 billion and 30 million shillings. That some people, some companies that have better understanding and experience than your company have introduced you to Kemsa. They got supplies worth 50 million. Then the new baby, which was just introduced now, is getting 1 billion 30 million. Could you tell us the big individuals who are behind this company?
Chair Chelule, and on record I have to repeat it because I've been seeing on social media being associated with top politicians in this country, and it is very unfair, especially from my part.
Just for clarification, could you tell us the top politician?
I need to now put it this way, because I had really not wanted us to go into that direction. Just honorable members, it is very, very vital that he is going to tell us the name that he says he is being associated with, and then because in the line of questioning that is here, those names are going to come out anyway. So just tell us, who is this politician that you're being told you're being referred to?
For example, I've been mentioned that the deputy president, for example, supported me just because we come from the same tribe, and it is wrong. That company strictly belongs to me, and I'm the only director. I've been a business for more than 20 years, and I've given you the support, the people we worked with. I've indicated the suppliers whom we are working with.
Which other one?
No, I got that one, especially that specific.
Who alleged that? Who alleged that the DP is involved?
I saw it on media and
which media?
Which media? It was a nation media, a nation newspaper, and it was done specifically. It was an allegation from Mr. Junet Mohammed. So.
Okay, Chair.
Wait a minute. No. Because you see, TJ, this is a house of record, and this is a house that the name that this committee was brought up had nothing to do with the deputy president. So now I want you to tell us. You're saying that because we have nation reporters here, and I can confirm that this committee, there is nowhere that the deputy president has been.
I mentioned, I saw it on the, it was around the same July. I saw it being mentioned.
And
during your committee also, the other name which I saw on TV cropped up was one for Mheshimiwa Senator. Sakaja, which and again it was on paper that Shop and Buy belongs to Honorable Sakaja. See, those are
and that is why I was telling members that it was important, because in the next line of questioning I will explain how Sakaja's name came in, so that you can now be able to clarify, and we hear also from your part. But you even when the honorable member was asking you who are you associated with, you don't necessarily have to be associated with a politician. Just tell us.
Chairman,
Rashid,
1 billion shilling transaction out of an ordinary Kenyan is not ordinary. It's not ordinary. It's not ordinary. Unless maybe the big names is being dropped could be true. So can you clarify?
One chair, you know, these are payments we are talking. We've not been paid. I'm talking about TechWise, who are, as we speak, they are actually suing us. TechWise Limited from China, which the bulk of the goods belong to them. I'm talking of
hold on. No, honorable members, let's now just do this in an orderly manner. And Honorable Rashid, what I will request, first of all, stop. Let's not get into diversionary issues. You were simply asked by the honorable member, because we have seen here where people come, and because of companies like yourselves, either you guys say a different prayer than all other Kenyans, or something else happens, because the members are just simply concerned how you walk in and walk out with 1 billion shillings. That is what members are asking you, and we're going to ask you this again, all right? Because through the little experience that we have in this committee, one thing I can assure you, we've been able to retract more information through all various other quarters than all the other investigation parts that have been done. So I'm not surprised that we're going to actually end up hearing other things. And the honorable member is asking you, and we're going to give you this opportunity to ask you this again. He simply asked you. It does not have to be that it is a politician. You have mentioned that you are told you're associated with the deputy president, and you've said you're not associated. You've said that you're associated with Honorable Sakaja, and I will explain here how Sakaja's name was brought into this committee. Now just answer Honorable the Vice Chair's question. Straight, not about who you have to pay or anything. Yes.
Chair, for avoidance of doubt and for record, I think I have just explained the sequence when the company was registered, the flow, all those. So it is the witness mentioning the name of the deputy president and not anybody from this committee. Kindly take note of that. And I just
wanted to be on record as well that this committee, the first time that the name of the deputy president has been involved in this committee has been uttered by your own words. No one has ever mentioned the name of the deputy president at all.
Chair, as I raise that so that I don't lose, kindly protect me. Let me move to the second item. No.
Let him continue, please. Yes.
You mentioned
let him continue, please. Thank you very much. Let's not get political. We are better than that. Huh?
You mentioned some government agencies. Of course, you have no the value with you. You have mentioned some government agencies. I think, Chair, we
honorable members, please.
Yeah.
Respect him, and also for purposes of
you mentioned some government agencies, and of course, cognizant of the fact that you may not have the exact figures now. You have already made supplies to them, And some of the agencies you mentioned include LAPSET, Kura, Kena. Kindly exhaust the list of the agencies. Of course, the value you can share later. LAPSET, Kura, Kena, any other government agency?
Rivertex,
Rivertex,
National Housing Corporation.
National Housing Corporation,
Okay, the others are Nanyuki Water Company,
Nanyuki Water Company,
and then there are institutions like Masai Technical Institute,
come again,
Masai Technical Institute,
Masai Technical Institute,
the Spinal Hospital, Injury Hospital.
Spinal Injury Hospital, Injury Hospital, any other?
The rest are like private or schools.
All right, these are almost how many government prestataries? LAPSET, Kura, Kenha, Spinal Injury Hospital, National Housing Corporation, Rivertex, Nanyuki Water Corporation,
County
government.
government entity.
Thank you.
However, what we will do is, as much as we will request for this information from yourself, you're actually quite blessed because you've been able to walk into all the state corporations in less than a month of being registered, and you were able to get businesses in all these state corporations. And you're saying that you don't have any connections whatsoever, but you definitely are saying the right prayers. That I can assure you.
So you see, at the month of April, let me finish. At the month of April and May and July, the media, especially Nation, can attest. We've been running adverts, quarter page, in their
The same media house that you're saying accused you?
No, it was they were quoting somebody else who mentioned something.
Okay.
So I'm saying we were running, and that is why most of our clients got in contact with us.
Okay.
And being the first company.
Just a minute, Honorable. Here I'll allow you next, but just a minute. When did you say you started these adverts?
In the month of April.
In the month of
May?
April?
Yes.
April and May?
Yes.
So why didn't Kemsa get you through those adverts?
I don't know.
Okay, all right. Why don't, let's have Honorable Hire, and then from here we'll have Robbie.
Chair, thank you very much. My name is Mohammed. Number one, Mr. James, you said you have supplied COVID items to TradeSoft, Edumat, and the Bennett Ventures. The question is, did you pay them? Did you make payments to those ventures? Number one. Number two, you have also said you supplied COVID items to government entities like Kura, Kenha, and other entities, also some private institutions. Were you paid by these institutions? Can you provide the volume of items that you supplied to these ventures, and how much money you have received from them? And then finally, like to say before, you are the first person who have mentioned the name of the deputy president.
I saw it in the press.
I'm coming to a question.
Actually, just for the record,
yes.
we're saying this again. This committee does not just necessarily take anything, but we just wanted to be on record that in this committee, the name of the deputy president has been introduced by yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
So my question is, you said you have seen in the media, specifically you said you saw it in nation media. Do you have a proof, like maybe a newspaper cutting or something, or are you able to reference us to which date that has nation has mentioned?
I can get it. I can refer it to the media.
Questions?
Honorable members, I just want to advise you equally as well. There's a lot of issues that are more pertinent as well, which because there's a lot of issues that are going to be coming out as to how all this ended up happening. But why don't you answer Honorable Hira's?
No, first of all, he has asked me, paid us, and some, for example, like Rivertex, have not paid. So there are some which have paid, there are some which have not paid. On issues of Bennett, it was not us paying Bennett, they paid us, they bought from us the goods. So it's like we cleared with them. We don't have any pending transaction with Benet, TradeSoft, and Edumat.
I just want to put it on record as well that these companies that he's referring to have been paid by Kemsa. But continue.
I think I'm done with these questions.
Here maybe what you should have asked, since it is in the same direction, you asked whether he can be able to substantiate that you're also doing business with them. Did you write to them to tell them that this is not the case, or did you just say let it be?
I called them.
Who did you call?
I called Mr. Tarus.
Tarus. Who is who there?
He's actually the same salesperson who normally takes my...
the orders?
The orders from my side.
But you did not take, you did not write to state your position or anything?
No, he assured me that there is nothing, and he talked to me. He gave me his manager, who is called Mercy, who said, you see, those are not us, it is people only being quoted.
Okay. So. I think we'll have Robbie.
Thank you, Chair. Is waiting for 1,030 million to be paid by Kemsa. Can you tell us how much you spent for the supply to Kemsa? The amount, the total amount that you spent to purchase, to supply to Kemsa, such that now you are waiting for 1,030 million.
I have exact figures here because it amounts.
How?
Of course, you want to be precise. Chair has asked me that if given opportunity, I should be able to give you the breakdowns of the costs, freight, because everything is included. Some we bought locally, like the clubs, which are...
If you cannot tell this committee of the amount you spent to supply, can we conclude that you didn't supply anything and you are demanding that money?
There is evidence we supplied. It's only I don't want to lie.
Then you should be able to tell us how much you spent to purchase the equipment.
TJ, allow him to just be able... it's a simple question. Can you just be able to advise us?
Yes.
Because you even started by telling us, and I told you don't go into that line. You said that you're being sued by one of your suppliers. Why don't you use that as a basis?
How much does it need?
How much?
The particular one who this TechWise is demanding around 170 million US dollars. It should be 170 million from us.
$1.7 million.
Yeah, let's have TJ.
You are a sole trader.
This is a limited liability.
Trader, sole limited company. Well, that is all right. James, and I believe you. I think they are very hard-working Kenyans. We should have a lot of money to be able to do business that you're talking about. And I am impressed that when I look at your source of investment, it is really you. Because a light venture, Batonjo, who has a minimal shareholding, but you're the largest shareholder. You go to Kuku Chick, and there is Caroline Chelegat, but you are the main shareholder. And then there is this joint business between James Chelulei, Collins Boynet, and Selen Poland. Again, you are the main.
Not true. Not that I'm the main.
This one, you are not the main one. This is equal joint.
Where I'm only the main is Elite Ventures.
All right. I have no problem. So, at the end of the day, when I look at this, all the investments to shop and buy is one James Chelulei. All right?
True, and the suppliers.
Yes, that's okay. Now, this and we are asking you about your total investments, and that question you'll not run away from. You will have to answer us. What is your total investment in shop and buy so far as COVID is, so far as Kemsa is concerned. But what I'm trying to ask you, these big monies that came from companies, from Elite, from Kuku, from joint ventures and so on, do you have written evidence? I mean, if you are going to borrow upwards of 100 million or 200 million, I'm sure that your company must be having into agreement, loan agreement, even if it is from yourself, even if it is from your company called Elite Ventures, because your accounts will not match unless there is written documentation, agreement on loan from Elite Ventures to Shop and Buy. If you don't do this, then you will be money laundering. So do we have information, written information from Kuku, these joint people, agreements, loan agreements that are loaning Shop and Buy?
In where we did the joint account, we have an agreement because that one was between entities. But for Elite and Kukuchik, I was debited.
I want to inform you that nowadays even central bank will not allow you. They will not cash even the 50 million you are talking about if you do not show
reasons.
Source of funding.
You see,
and source of funding, what a bank manager would ask you in most cases is that where is the loan agreement? Where is because Elite and Shop and Buy are two different things. I hope you are a businessman who has done these things for 20 years. So you understand that we are dealing with different entities.
We have
Shop and Buy is different from Elite. Do you have written documents for source of funds between Elite, Kuku, and all these people to you?
Yeah, we have records on them. The only thing we don't have loan agreements. We have a written document to show James has taken this. And for the record, most of this cash never came in a lump sum. Because if I needed 6 million, 2 million, 1 million, that's how I could borrow.
How much did you pay Techwise and Career Logistics? At least for the prepayment to allow the goods to come over?
I'm not sure, but for Techwise, we paid around 60 million. For Career Logistics, because it has been continuous, is more than 200 million.
So just
and you paid this under the name of Shop and Buy?
Shop and Buy.
Okay.
There's a holding alone there. You know, I have the Elite, I have Kuku, but holding alone, even that alone, you have 260 money that you have invested. So who are you that you have so many? Who are you? Can you understand? Respond?
It is not me. It is Shop and Buy.
Yes, but you are the main guy.
It's a trading company.
No, listen to me. You are the main person who is collecting all this money. So whether they are this or that, you are the person around it. You have already these Chinese guys. You have paid 260 million. All right, and that is not all, because that is just the little investment you have put. You remember you had 57 million. Even if you have been trading for 20 years, who are you to be able to do this kind of thing?
Actually, we'll have Honorable Meli, but no. He after him is you, and then Babu, who is the youngest.
Babu is lately come.
Yeah. So after. No. What we will do, I want us I want members to be aware of one thing. It is very important in your line of questioning, so that you can be aware of this. And honorable members, Babu, you said you imported these items, isn't it?
The bulk I imported. There's
the bulk of it.
Yes.
About what percentage did you import?
More than 60%.
About 60% of the items you imported. Yes. Do you remember how much you paid in taxes?
We had a waiver for most of the taxes, but there are figures we paid, like the.
You had a waiver?
Okay, there are some specific taxes which was waived by the president, especially for the COVID products.
Okay. But I just want to read this out so that members can also be aware of what it is that is here. You did business worth $1 billion, right? Am I right, James?
That is what I quoted, but we've not been paid.
No, but you valued your goods at about $1 billion, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. So if you valued your goods at about $1 billion, I'm reading out here just a small example of a company that was given business worth 30 million, and they paid the taxman 1,061,000. That was 30 million, and it is because of that waiver that the president talked about. They did 2 entries. I just want to advise you, you did 12 entries. That means you did 12 different consignments. All those entries ended up being 12 in total. Out of the 12 entries that you did, the value that you declared these goods to be at is 10 million. So I asked you what was the percentage of the items that you imported. You said it was 60%. You declared these goods at about 10 million. And the taxes that you paid in total, in everything, from VAT to import duty, was 687,000 shillings, 562 shillings. That is the taxes that you actually paid. Again, we are looking at credibility of yourselves. We are looking at credibility of whether actually these items were supplied. Now, I just want to assure you again that you are under oath, James. And at goods that you have, from 10 million, if you're looking at 60% of these is what you imported, so that means you sold goods worth about 600 million. Yeah. So you either your profit margins were multiplied by 10 from 10 million as to what is purported that you imported. You did import these goods, by the way. I want to confirm that you did import these goods.
I'm not sure.
But the goods that you imported, no, I'm talking about what we have from the Kenya Revenue Authority. He paid taxes worth 687,000 shillings, 562. The goods that you imported, you declared goods, that these goods were declared at 10 million shillings. So I just thought we should know that we all know at this point, all right? So let's have Meli. From Meli we have Honorable Wanjala, and then we have Babu.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, James, I just want to take you back that prior to February, I've seen you've had many companies, like the Elite Ventures and the Cuckoo Chick and all this. How old are these companies prior to coming up with Shop and Buy?
Elite Ventures was incorporated in the year 2006. Chick, I'm not specific, but it should be 2011.
2011. Which one else? There was another one. Burnett? No, you are not part.
It was just a joint. It's just a joint.
Yes, that's a joint account. What? Burnett, you have a joint account. When did you?
I'm talking. There is an individuals we have joint account.
Oh, okay. So that is Bennett.
No.
Now let's go back to Elite Ventures and Cuckoo Chick. What is the net worth of the two?
I cannot be able to specifically mention, but Elite Ventures is a real estate company.
And what are you dealing with?
We buy, sell land.
You buy and sell land?
Yes, and at times we develop.
This is the Elite Ventures I've been saying.
Yes.
In Elred?
Yes.
So what are you doing?
We buy and sell land.
So what is the net worth of Elite Ventures?
I cannot be able to quantify, but we should be worth more than 200 million.
Cuckoo Chick?
Again, I cannot be able to quantify, but the assets are again in excess of 200 million.
Now, you are dealing in land and cuckoos, is it?
I said,
now, all of a sudden, you are in medical, is it?
Yes, a business.
Yes, pharmaceuticals.
Yes.
Now, who introduced you to to Kemsa?
I mentioned three companies, which there are three companies I mentioned who are supplying Kemsa.
Yes.
One is Benet Ventures, the other one is TradeSoft Limited, the other one is Edumat Limited.
Yes. Now, those are the people who introduced to Kemsa.
Yes.
Whom are you dealing with specifically in Kemsa?
I think, honorable members, the line that Honorable Meli is taking is where now we want to get to the bottom of it. Yeah. Go ahead, Meli.
Yes. Whom are you dealing with in Kemsa?
In Kemsa, we wrote letters and...
No, you were introduced, yes. You were introduced to who?
Kemsa is an institution. We wrote a letter and sent it to the CEO. That is, especially for my case, I wrote the letter with the CEO, and that was final. I got the reply.
Hold on. Let us get one thing straight. How did you know that you're meant to do that letter?
Yes, that's it. And in the first instance, can you tell us the form of introduction these people took you to Kemsa? Edumat, TradeSoft, Bennett. What was the form of introduction?
Okay, for my case, I told you I'd supply them goods. The goods I had at that point was slightly higher and they didn't have the money to pay me and supply. So they actually asked me, why don't you write a letter directly to Kemsa and supply? We did 2-3 other letters.
No. First of all, let's go back there. You are saying these people introduced you to Kemsa.
Yes.
In which way? That they took you to one of the offices?
No.
They talked to what? How was the introduction?
No, they said Kemsa are buying goods.
Only that?
COVID.
And you wrote a letter?
Yes.
And you were allowed, you were given an intent to supply 1 billion shillings like that?
No, I wrote other letters, it was rejected, they were never returned.
Hold on. Let's just get this very, very clear, all right, honorable members.
But
Honorable Meli is coming up with a very, very good, very beautiful. I will request all of us. Yes, let's refrain from all these other issues. Now you're telling us that there were actually other letters that you wrote.
They were rejected.
No, they were not replied. That is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. So when did you write the other letters?
Why didn't you attach them?
who mainly?
No, most of them we were told we were writing to the CEO.
All right, fair enough. So we're asking you again, when did you write these other letters?
I suppose it was again at the same, I don't know the dates, but around March, around April.
And do you have any evidence that you wrote to them?
I don't have any evidence, but currently I can look for them.
Okay. So by around April, Honorable Meli, I'm just trying by around April you said you wrote the first letters to them.
Yeah, but there was no reply. It was actually intention to supply the nitrile gloves.
To supply what?
Gloves.
Gloves.
Yes.
And they did not respond to you.
Yes.
Okay. But then they responded to you, and the one for gloves, how many pieces were there?
I don't remember the exact numbers.
Okay. You are saying that you cannot remember, but you're the one who signed the letter.
Yes, I did try to sign the letter.
You're the one who signed the letter?
Yes.
Okay. So you walked into Kemsa offices. Did you go into the office of the salespeople? Tell us, relive that moment when you actually went into Kemsa.
The first time I went to Kemsa, we had already done the letter. I was going to... The guy you sent him out here was the person who delivered the letter. So...
Just mention his name and be on record that we did not send him out. He was improperly dressed. This is again, he was improperly dressed. We gave him an opportunity to borrow a coat, which the sergeant would have been kind enough. But even still, at the kind of businesses that you do, I'm sure if he was important to answer, would have been able to buy a jacket at some very, very few places around here. But please, we did not send him out. He was improperly dressed. Where is he? Amepata jacket. If even if a member of the media can be able to lend him a jacket or something, he can be able to come. Members of the media are willing to sell their jacket. But please continue.
Yes.
So tell us the chronology. You're saying that the first time that you went there, when was the first time that you went to Kemsa?
I've gone there 3 times myself.
You've gone there 3 times.
The commercial street. But when delivering goods, I went several times.
No, let's start from the beginning.
From that time.
From the beginning. The genesis.
I don't remember the date, but I went. It should have been when I was trying to get the letter. It should be 2nd May, 3rd up to 6th when I was trying to get the letter.
Okay, because you're saying it could be 2nd May, 3rd or 6th?
Yes, between 6th and
of May.
Yeah.
Okay, because this letter that has been written to you is 29th of the letter that you wrote is 29th of April. So I'm asking you, the first time that you went to Kemsa was when?
I went earlier. I went earlier with the first letter.
Which is when?
Which should have been 20th April, but it was not with this letter.
It was another letter.
Yes.
Okay. And you're saying you don't remember the date, and you're also saying that you don't remember what was the value of the goods you wanted to supply.
I don't remember.
So when you went with that letter, you met who at Kemsa?
No, most of the letters were actually delivered at the reception. All the letters.
You didn't meet anyone?
No, I didn't.
At no instance did you meet any officer in Kemsa?
When I was looking for my letter, I met at some point Pamela, and when I was following on some issues, I met Mr. Kitui, but on different occasions.
Okay.
Most of them are on the procurement side.
Okay. Now that you've mentioned Pamela's name, I want to read out to you. Like I said, this is a house of record, and she said this when she was on under oath. She says Dr. Manjari instructed her to draft one commitment letter to Shop and Buy on 5th of May 2020. This was the first time that Dr. Manjari, she does not know whether that letter was for Sakaja, but when she delivered that letter, Sakaja was in the office. However, she was instructed to backdate that letter to that date that you were given.
29.
You did not?
No, I don't know. I wrote my letter on.
This is what I'm telling you. I'm reading here. This is an employee of Kemsa who was here under oath. And she says Dr. Manjari instructed her to draft a commitment letter to Shop and Buy. The date at which she was instructed to do this was on 5th of May. I'm going to ask you a question. Very random question. I know that at times as human beings we get selective amnesia. Which day of the week did you go to Kemsa?
Sunday. I don't remember, but it should have been a weekday.
That's what I'm saying. Of course. And that's why I said it is definitely selective amnesia. Now, you are aware that this committee has the powers to be able to actually request for the CCTVs. You are aware of that, isn't it?
Yes.
Right. And for the record, if anyone tries to mess with those CCTVs, they are actually going to be liable. Now that I've said it, if anyone tries to mess with those CCTVs, they're going to be liable. I'm going to ask you this again. This is information. You are the one who. It was important I bring in how Sakaja's name was involved. Sakaja's name was involved because before Pamela came to this committee, Charles Juma was the one who came here and said that he feels that Sakaja was involved with your company. We have done our investigation with the registrar of companies and everywhere else, and we've even asked you whether in your signatories whether it is you alone, and you have said it is you alone, an issue that we will also be writing to the banks to confirm whether that is the true status. So you have said that the signatory is only you alone. The CR12 and every other document from the business registrar shows likewise that there is no one else who was involved. However, this Pamela is now confirming what her boss said here. So you've got two people confirming the same thing. That as a matter of fact, your letter was done on 5th of May, but it was backdated to 30th of April 2020. It is very easy for us to be able to get this chronology. So I'm going to ask you again, Mr. James. When did you go? You do not remember the date of the week it was. You do not remember the first letter, what you wanted to supply. For some reason, you're not remembering anything. So I'm going to ask you this again. You walked into the offices of Kemsa, isn't it?
On which date, Chair?
It's you to tell us. You're the one. And by the way, please take note of this very, very clearly. Please do take note of this matter very, very clearly. All right, you are under oath. Now, James, I'm going to ask you this again. You said you went to Kemsa the first time, you went to Kemsa the second time, and the third time, and you were denied. You cannot remember which day of the week it is that you went on 29th. But all we know is that after you walked in on 29th, on 30th, you got a letter.
Yeah, I picked this letter. It should have been on 6th or 7th of May.
Which one?
It was the commitment letter.
Oh, so you got it on which date?
I'm not sure, but I'm saying between 6th and 7th.
So you got it on 6th and 7th?
Yeah, that is when it was collected and delivered to us.
But who collected it?
By Peter, who was here.
Peter?
Yes.
Now, at this instance, I am actually requesting if someone could be able, because he has to be put under oath, and Peter has to explain whether he was actually there. Kindly, we need him to get a jacket. He's disappeared. Can you call him?
I'm not sure. He was pursuing a very good line. I don't know whether we have gone off the track.
No, we haven't. We have not gone off track at all. This is the gist of the matter. The reason why Schopenhauer was actually mentioned was one, which members I want to congratulate you all, was how the date at which you were incorporated and the amount of business that you got. Now that we are after that, we are now asking what is your involvement with Kemsa, and I'm being told that this gentleman is no longer there. Is he there?
No, it's not there.
Can we take a 30-second and you call him? See, you said he's the one who went to collect the letter, isn't it? The gentleman who was here, we had to ask him to excuse us so that he can be dressed decently. And I need to ask you this now. James, I want to remind you you're under oath. You said who went to collect the letter?
Peter went to collect the letter.
Okay, now you need to stop misleading us because this letter was signed by you.
Yeah, I'm saying, you see, on the same day, you see, I want to confirm which the date was. And remember, we had done more than 2 letters.
Okay, I asked you a question. Who went to collect this letter of commitment?
On 7th.
Who collected the commitment letter?
Okay, I'm mixing myself. The letter dated 20th was collected by Peter. That particular one I collected.
Which letter did the one for 20th of May?
Yes, yes.
Where you got more business?
No, it was being restructured. It was the same.
This is the restructuring of the business. So this one of 30th, you're the one who went.
Yes.
So if we look at all the records, this record will actually confirm that this date that which you went here was on which day?
That's why I'm it should be 6th or 7th, but I will go and confirm with my...
It should be 6th or 7th, is the day that you went there.
I proceed?
Yes, let's have Honorable Wanjala, and then from there we'll have Babu and then Esther.
On 14th of February 2020, you decided to have a company, to register a company.
Honorable members, it's vital as per the Speaker's communication that I remind you all and I remind myself, please have your mask on. Honorable Babu and Robbie, please. All right, thank you.
Yeah, you decided to start a company. You registered it 14th of February.
Yes.
And then you have told us you wrote some letters to Kemsa, which were possibly not responded to. But all of a sudden, from 29th April, your letter is being answered on the 30th. Instantly, it got replies. And then on 19th May, you write another one. It is being answered on the 20th. Why all of a sudden, you will answer together because I don't have one question. Why all of a sudden change of heart when they were not replying your letters if something did not happen, as Pamela said? Now, on the same note, look at your delivery notes. When you look at your delivery notes of 10th of July and another 10th of July, there are two. I don't know whether it is because of photocopying, the stamps are not properly visible. But tell me, you are asked a question here. How much it cost you to purchase things you did not say, and then somebody said maybe you did not supply. Now when I look at your delivery notes, I find that you were delivering things, then you are getting a stamp saying your things have not been checked. You deliver, but they say your things have not been checked. But you deliver to the warehouses. I have continued to check. I have not seen where they have said now your things were checked and confirmed to be the really items they wanted. Now tell me, did you really deliver these items that were not checked?
Chair, on issues of dates, how the letters, how Kemsa acted, I also don't know. I don't have authority inside Kemsa on how they should be replying the letters. But on the deliveries, you can see these deliveries are quite a number.
First question, what have you said about the letters?
I don't know how their procedure on when they reply the letters. I mean, how long it can take for them to reply a client's or a supplier's letter or an Indian letter. I don't know that one. But on the deliveries, we delivered, Mheshimiwa, and these goods.
You delivered notes or you delivered goods? That were
I delivered goods.
But they were not checked.
I don't
Until today, you have not attached anything here to show that actually they were checked and confirmed to have been delivered in proper order and condition.
Before they stamp, they check and they confirm that the numbers indicated in the invoice tally with what we've delivered.
Then can you check on your deliveries where they have said received warehouse but not checked?
By QA, that is what I thought it means is, but not checked by the quantity analyst or whoever. So, but the receiving manager received the goods. On issues quality, I think there is a procedure Kemsa does.
Actually, the procedure is very simple. The procedure is you need to send your samples in advance. They need to look at your samples, test them. If they are found to be fine, then you supply. In your instance, what you did, not only did you reverse the whole system of procurement, but then even the issue of how the quality of these goods should be was not done.
Was not done. The answer is delivered, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, let's have Honorable Babu.
Shop
and Buy Limited Director, Mr. James. We have different types of tenders. We have closed tender, and in closed tender we all know what happens. A situation whereby at least a selected number of companies are selected to supply goods or services to a company. We have an open tender where every member of the public or an organization can be invited to supply goods and services. We have selective tender. In selective tender, a supplier is selected and given specifications on the goods and services to supply, and we have a negotiated tender. And in this type of tendering mainly occurs in matters construction and engineering matters. So you, having worked on the 29th of April with a request to supply COVID-19 items to Kemsa, then on the 30th of the same month of April 2020, you are given a confirmation, a commitment letter that you are overqualified to supply COVID-19 items. In these 4 types of tendering process, a tender occurring within a day does not qualify in any of the 4 types of the tenders. And we all know that the Kemsa tenders involved it was an open tender where members were invited and organizations were invited. So with that alone, it tells us that there was malice, a forethought in this tendering process. And I would like you to explain how one could walk into an organization on the 29th of April 2020 with a request to supply, and then on the 20th of April 2020 you already awarded, and you awarded the highest amount, which is to a tune of 1 billion. Then number 2, I don't want to harass you at all because I fix myself in your shoes, also having so many criminal cases in a court of law, so I want to handle myself. When you look at your own document, Shop and Buy Limited, at the farthest corner where you are giving us your details, your contacts, the email address is written Shop and Buy Kenya or shopandbuy254.com. I don't know how relevant that is. So does this explain whether this Shop and Buy Limited exists or it doesn't exist? And if it exists, when did it start existing? And if should this be a new way of writing an email address? Is this a modern type of writing an email address? And if it is a new one, was it formed specifically for this job? Because then it should show that this company, being a new company in the market, was specifically registered with an intent to defraud, to expropriate, to misappropriate, to pilfer Kenyans of their hard-earned money. I rest my case, Chairman.
All right. Yes, Babu is coming from.
Too much education, Chair. Destroyeth a man. However, too little takes him nowhere.
I should on the email, Babu.
Actually, you'll refer through the chair.
Okay.
And
Chair,
as friendly as he is in Parliament, he'll be referred to as Honorable Owino.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is an error. If you look at the deliveries, we used the same Shop and Buy 254 at gmail.com. We missed on the first one gmail.com.
Okay.
And it is the same letter we normally communicate with your office.
Okay, that is something very simple. But however, the issues that Honorable Babu has asked you, he categorized the various means of procurement that are available in law, what would you call the one that you did?
Called an emergency tender, and specifically we were told direct.
Who told you?
I told you most of the information I got from the suppliers. We did supply to them, and it occurred to them that the same process was happening. And
okay, I'm just going to ask you, you mentioned to us about 6 or 7 other state corporations that you supplied these items to, right? Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. In any of these state corporations that you supplied to these items, how did they do it? Did they just call you, tell you, do a letter?
After most of what we did was we were advertising our company in the main media.
Fair enough.
And
but
then most of them would call, and then they would come and give us a request to supply them.
Exactly, a request for quotation.
Yes.
It was a request for quotation.
Yes.
Where that request for quotation, there was a place that was written there, how many days it will take you to deliver, what was the item cost, and everything else, isn't it?
Yes.
There was a business questionnaire form for them to be able to know who you are and everything else, right?
Some did, some didn't have.
Okay. We'd like even to know those who did not do that. But the law is that there should be a business questionnaire. Now, what Honorable Owino is asking you is very simple. You need to just simply justify to us how Kemsa ended up giving you a contract of 1 billion shillings within 24 hours of you walking in and walking out, an issue that on 2 sworn testimonies, 2 sworn testimonies that we have in front of us, of all of them saying that your letter was actually backdated. Please, just in a very, very layman's language.
And Mr. Chairman,
yes.
Just to add on is that they did not even ask for the items for quantity.
For quality assurance. You were not asked to do a quality inspection of your items. You walked in, you said, I want to supply. They did not want to find out who are you. Are they dealing with a terrorist organization? They did not ask you anything. They did not do a due diligence on the company, whether you can financially be able to, whether you can be able to technically be able to. So you just walk in and you walk out with 1 billion shillings.
Simon Makonde.
So I still repeat, Chair, we've not been paid 1 billion shillings.
I understand that,
Then
and you will not be paid 1 billion shillings.
Yes.
But it is not even about the goods being checked. I want to ask you now this question. This is a commitment letter. This letter that you wrote to them, a price per item, isn't it?
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. Where an N95 is 800 shillings, where a PPE is 9,500 shillings. Now that you've not followed any form of law, they wrote back to you without indicating what was the price they've committed to you. Am I right so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you here, if they tell you that the price that we feel is fair, considering, because I also want to read this out to members and so that the media can be here and they will also be able to pick this up. As part of doing our due diligence, it was important, and this is communication from the Kenya Red Cross, who bought quantities way less than what Kemsa bought. However, an N95 mask, they bought it at $3.21, and on a worst case scenario, that means that an N95 mask they bought this, and they only bought 7,000 pieces, by the way. Not in millions like the way Kemsa bought. At an N95 at $3.21, what that means is that if Kemsa had done proper due diligence, just for that one item, they would have saved close to, they're actually paying 100%, so they would have, if they did proper due diligence, they would have saved themselves an extra probably 90% or 100% extra costs. So I'm going to ask you this. Now that we are where we are, if they tell you that this price you asked for 9,500, we cannot pay you this, we'll only pay you 4,000.
Okay, I understand, Chair, but I want to request you, I try to explain. During the mentioned months, that is April running to May, or even earlier, around February, for example, before COVID, it was easy to import an N95 mask. Specifically, between these periods, we had a lot of challenges. One, which I can tell you, which informed the prices at that point.
You see, all I'm telling you is this: as part of doing due diligence, what this committee is going in its end result is going to give to the world and to the people who are going to have to execute on what it is. One, that not only did procurement methods were not followed, but two, equally, how exorbitant these prices ended up being. And to prove that these things were being sold to Kemsa at exorbitant prices is one, the county governments themselves were unable to buy because they bought these things too expensive from yourselves and others like you. Why? Because no proper tendering process was done. Two, other entities that are recognized by law, including the ad hoc committee the president put up, the National COVID Task Force, which had people from the private industry to come and be able to raise funds and to also buy items, including the Kenya Red Cross, bought these items at 50% of the price almost of what Kemsa bought.
It depends on the exact duration, because I can tell you.
It is the same duration.
April?
Yes.
So, because what, for sure, most of these goods were not even available.
Well, and other people were able to buy them, and not only
all quantities. That is
you guys supplied. Not only did you supply, this was not a market-oriented issue. It was a supply-oriented issue. You shoved down items. Kenyan companies that wanted it was not even about doing business anymore. It was about greed. You shoved down items during a pandemic on Kenyans. As we are speaking, the CS of Health is trying to seek authority to be able to sell these items at a loss. Now we're going to ask you this again. It's a simple question. You walked in, according to you, on 29th, and then on 30th there was a letter. According to two sworn testimonies that we have who are here, is that it was not even those dates. Those dates were not the dates. That, as a matter of fact, this thing was backdated. And then in 24 hours, you got a letter. So, Mr. James, I'm going to ask you this again. Considering that Babu explained to you all the procurement laws that are there, and I'm sure that your legal person advised you as well, I'm asking you again, in the event that you're told we cannot be able to buy this at 9,500, we'll only be able to buy this at 4,000 shillings, what happens?
We will cross the bridge once we are there.
Thank you very much. Honorable Mishi?
Yeah, Chair. I'm sorry because I'm late, and I'm sorry if the question I'm going to ask has already been asked, then I'm going to drop it. I'm just asking, what was the financial capacity Shop and Buy had before you were given that tender? And the same perspective maybe, how did you manage to finance such kind of a tender, because the amount is just too big? So just want to understand, how did you manage to facilitate that? And also, what was your account capacity during that time before you were given that tender?
All right, for purposes of Honorable Mishi, just briefly answer that, because Honorable Mishi, it had already been asked by 3 members before, but just for her interest, she just asked you. So just briefly answer it. How are you able to finance it?
Okay, I still repeat in a very short note that one, part of the funds were from myself. Second were from associate companies which is associated with me. And then the bulk of the money belongs to the suppliers whom I engaged from China. And I gave all their names.
All right, Esther?
James, can you tell me, you are able to do something that very few people can do. You're able to get a response within 24 hours. I mean, you had your first response to your letter on the 28th, you wrote on the 29th of April, saying what you can supply, giving the prices, all right? And then on the 30th, you got a response. Then you wrote again on the 19th of May, and again on the 20th, you got a response. I just want to know, who is your godfather? Because really, an MD who is dealing with a pandemic, dealing with over 100 suppliers, all right, is able to respond to your letters within 24 hours. You must come from a very high office, because, or you must have somebody who says when that man walks in, make sure he's served immediately, or that company. Because I'm assuming that Mr. John Manjari was very, very busy during this pandemic period, dealing with over 100 suppliers. So who is your godfather? Who is this person that you're fronting, or who fronts you, right, that is able to make sure that you get a response from the CEO of a major parastatal within 24 hours?
Chair, that person is still me. I don't have a godfather, and as I've said, I'm a businessman, and my name is James Chelule, and the person who transacted with Kemsa is still James Chelule. There is no godfather.
James, let me tell you something. You know, I think if I have a son, I will call him your name, because it seems like this name is so unique in the sense you can supply 100,000 of PPEs, 100,000 of masks in the price. By the way, who decided this price? Because this price seems to be unique and uniform to everybody. I saw on your website, I've just been on your website, you're selling PPEs at 3,000, average of 3,000 shillings. So what I want to understand is, when you were supplying Kemsa, who determined the price of 9,800, 9,500 and 800? Was it you? Because right now you're selling them at about 3,000 on your website. So again, besides getting the response within 24 hours, which nobody can. By the way, even I have tried to get the CEO of Kemsa once in a while, right? And I cannot get him to even respond to my calls within 6 days. And I'm the county woman representative. You're able to not only get a response, but a written response giving you what you ask for. You're asking to supply 100,000 PPEs, 100,000 face masks at a specific price, and you're getting it. Within 24 hours, you're getting that response. So if you want me to believe that you're just James, and because of your name and who you are, Chelule, you are able to get the MD of the CEO of a big company, you know, to actually give you responses within 24 hours. Come on, you're taking us for people who have no sense.
Maybe Honorable Basat, maybe the member was out by a number of members, and according to him, of course, he is the owner and he is for himself. Even raised names of politicians, and I guess we settled that issue. Maybe I think we need to make progress. Honorable TJ.
All right. With the response the following day on 30th of April, right? In your letter of 29th, you say you wish to partner with Kemsa. And again, you are asked, so opportunity to supply. And then, you then write on 19th of May, members here, to be wondering whom you are, if you don't have a godfather. You know, we come from the same country, Chief. With all this information, wonder, what kind of person are you? That you as James, you are able to do some of these things without powerful people behind you. Are you there for, would it be proper if one were to assign this label of COVID billionaires behind you? Because how else would you do anything like this? Anybody in this room, who in this room could do anything like this? James, are we being unfair to you to ask you that somebody definitely is behind you to do this kind of thing? And you are not you are a small fish, there are bigger fishes behind you.
No, I want to really thank the committee for trying to get real facts and the truth. The unfortunate thing is the truth which I am trying to give you as feedback does not is not being accepted. What I want to still state, as Mheshimiwa has stated, is we've been on these COVID products and we are still doing it. It is still the same person. I still import and sell the COVID products. Maybe where you should even congratulate now our company is the efficiency at which we were able to deliver these things within the shortest time.
So you can convince the CEO to respond to you within 24 hours. I want to congratulate you.
Mr. Chairman,
What is one in Honorable?
it is an insult to Kenyans that he claimed to have delivered were not which word should I use? They didn't go for tests. So we don't know whether they were good quality or not. They were not checked.
Yes,
even during delivery, still they were not checked. We even don't know whether he delivered these things or he delivered the air. How can he tell us that we should thank him when he wants to steal from us?
Chair, the KRA receipts, and I don't think we got a satisfactory answer on the KRA receipts. We had a company, assuming he did a turnover of 600 million, he should have paid at least 20 million. And for these items that you said you imported, that you actually delivered to Kemsa. And then of course, what kind of items, what kind of quality? How does a company that trades 600 million pay 600,000 and sits here and tries to tell us that you are who you are? Surely, even the fact that you didn't pay the tax shows that you must have some godfathers. Because really, how did you get away with that? A small company that's 30 million paid 1 million. You did supposedly 600 million, assuming that you only imported 60%. And here you are, you only paid 600,000. So 1%. So surely, are you justified in even sitting here and saying that, oh, we haven't been paid? The reason you probably haven't been paid is because you probably didn't deliver. Because on the KRA side, you have no justification to show we're importers, we paid taxes. So 1 million, 600 million, 600,000. How do you explain that?
One on issue of taxes, I don't have the figures now, and I don't want to discredit the chair on what he has raised.
You're not even discrediting me.
Yes.
Actually, this is information from the Kenya Revenue Authority,
Yes,
and and the person who presented this to us is the highest office bearer when it comes to collection of taxes in this country. Short of him was the CS for Treasury. However, this is now a whole thing. Summary of import is now basically on the items, and the items that you're talking about, that the president waived on some items, they were actually waived even by the World Health Organization for countries to be able to hasten. Said you imported 60%. What was it that you imported that was captured here? And the name Shop and Buy appears here. Your importer PIN number is P0518963640L. That is your importer PIN number. Shop and Buy Limited, you did 12 entries. Out of 12 entries, you paid the duty that the value that you declared these goods at is at 10,007,591 shillings. The amount of taxes that have been paid, taxes remitted in Kenyan shilling is 687,562.
Chair, let me put it to you. If you import goods worth 10 million,
I could.
Please do.
Yeah, it's 9.7 tons. 9,774 kilos. And when we started, I told you that in many cases, I don't know how the other, because I know you've gone to other places, you've been called probably by ESCC and everyone else. But I can assure you, when we're through with this committee, and I think everyone here can be able to confirm, I think the information that we're actually able to gather from the witnesses, that we will now provide for everyone to know what exactly transpired, and for now the authorities that have to take action, for them to take the necessary action, we will do what needs to be done. But then now I'm going to ask again this question: Where is the gentleman who you came with? I requested you to call him.
No, I
Disappeared in thin air.
should have gone back.
Huh?
He should have gone back to the office.
Did he see things are getting a bit tough?
Then,
Because we requested him to wait for us outside. More so considering that you are saying that he's the one who collected this letter, isn't it?
the last letter of the 24th or something.
Which one?
There are two letters. There's one for 20.
So the one for 20th May, he's the one that we are going to be seeing there.
Yes.
I wish to remind you again that you're under oath.
See, he went to collect the letter. You see, most of these things, we don't know where you pick from. If it is the reception or the procurement department.
Mr. Chairman, having looked at the documentation and the information we have, it is my observation and belief that indeed you had somebody in Kemsa and you did not supply goods worthy for you to be paid 1 billion, even referring to KRA and referring the weight of the lorry that carried those items. And on the same note, with the delivery notes that were not checked, they could not check things that were not there. And on the same note that you did not go, they were not tested for quality, whether they could pass the quality that was required is nowhere. You did not even take there the sample. So it is my conclusion that you did not supply, but you supplied air.
You should actually respond to everything that you're being asked.
It's okay. Now, I still repeat that, and on issues of the importation, I was restricted by the chair to only mention shop and buy. But
That's what we are doing.
yes, but when during the importation purpose, there are some taxes, for example, which were paid still using my name. But then I was told to restrict myself to shop and buy.
You can't import under shop and buy, and then you say taxes came to you.
We are not fools. We are also important.
No. Let's use parliament. Thank you. You're not on record.
Let me use that one. We are also informed because we also import and export. What we are saying, we are also informed because we import and export. You cannot import on the name of shop and not have paid those taxes.
I was saying there are some goods which I imported prior to the company getting the bin in my name, and the same steel goods were transacted or traded by shop and buy.
So you're saying you can be able to provide.
He's trying to confuse. Then why has Kemsa put them all under shop and buy? Both.
It is. You see, the goods I supplied to Kemsa, some were imported, some I got locally, some I imported using my name.
So let me get this straight.
Is there any deliver name here? Any deliver not here in your name?
The indent letter was done by shop and buy. Even the deliveries were shop and buy. There is nowhere.
We are dealing with shop and buy.
So let me ask you this question. You to be able to appear. We really need to get to the bottom of this. Out of all the companies that have been mentioned, I think you are at the creme de la creme in terms of the date at which you were registered, how you got these letters. You ended up being mentioned that you got these letters. In fact, the people who have sworn testimonies before this committee are actually confirming that you got this letter even backdated. You did not get it on the date that it was there. So I'm going to ask you, and legal counsel is here. I want it to be on record. I need to ask you this. Have you been given every accord to be able to answer everything that you know?
On the letter you gave me to come and
That's why I said on the other issues
On the-
we will expect you to provide all that to us, including the fact that you have now alluded that you imported some of these items on your own. So you are going to provide to us those entries that you said these are now part of the entries that I used to import these goods under my own personal name. Because it still does not add up as to why you imported some items under your name, some under the name of Shop and Buy. We will, for purposes of clarity. No, Honorable Wanjala, the deal came through. So we'd like to also see the deal on your statement, the same way we did to the business registrar, so that the name of Sakanja does not unnecessarily get dragged in. He was there with the date of this letter being there. Now I want to ask you this again. And I want it to be on record that we have asked you this, and please, I hope the Hansard is going to pick this up. I want to ask you this again. When did you send the letter that you want to supply Kemsa? On 29. And when did you collect that letter?
I said around 6 or 7.
And who is the one who collected that letter?
Should be you.
No, not should be. Sure. I'm going to ask you this again as well. Thereafter, after you were able to finish all this, there's an extension dated 20th May. This extension of 20th May, who? Peter who? Able to provide us these documents that we are asking for?
Is it on email or
for both, or you'll start it by email and then we will let you know the date if and when we require you back.
maybe I will do it within...
Not by time. What we are going to do is communication in this committee is considered already formal. If we are going to write to you, it is nothing else except we're just being courteous.
The particulars you want.
But we have been talking here from all along on what we want. That means you guys have not even been taking note. Return. How long do you think you will take to return back with everything?
3 working days.
In?
3 working days. 3 working days.
In 3 working days. Thank you very much. Karibu. Parliament. You didn't even drink your water.
I will take it as I go out.
Thank you very much.